The Arizona Cardinals roster gymnastics are over, but was there one move that they didn't make that they should have? Should they have gone all in on Micah Parsons?
Yeah, we react to that. Plus, the Cardinals unveiled their new rivalry uniforms. What do you think? And a new QB3 is in town. We're in town. We're at Play at Gila. Hey, we're fired up. It's PHNX Cardinals starting now. Hey, welcome in live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Kindly like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack. No man behind the mic today. Loaded show, 4:30 here Mountain Time, and loaded evening with our friends at Gila. How we living, Brack?
We're living well. The residency officially has begun for your boys over at PHNX Cardinals, and of course, we're brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the code PHNX365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Dare I call it our home away from home. We'll be here every single away game for our watch parties. Hoping to bring some dubs with us this year. Tonight's a big fat dub. We've got our live show now. We're doing off the record with the people in attendance, a season preview at 6 p.m. So there's still some time to come out to Gila River Resorts. And, of course, tonight, the cherry on top, our second annual in-person PHNX Sports Fantasy Draft.
Yeah.
So, again, if you're in the area, free 99, come out, hang with us, have some apps. Maybe some wings, maybe some nachos here for our head of production, Shano. We're fired up.
We absolutely are fired up. I saw a quartet of gentlemen out there having some yellow jackets, having some queso.
Yeah.
Look fantastic. We had some great swag you can purchase at the door.
Yeah.
We got everything here. We saw our guy Tyler from Bird Gang. He's gearing up for an unbelievable trip to the Big Easy next week. It's already nearly that time.
Yes.
I mean, we're lining up, and I would have never guessed that this close to the kickoff for the regular season, a week from today, that we'd have a blockbuster that went down today. And, you know, the Micah Parsons fever dream lasted for like an hour.
Yeah, it did last though. We had like there was a point in time in which we thought, could this happen? Would this happen? It's pretty crazy. August 28th. So we've been having conversations on this show for the better part of 8 months about Micah Parsons, his availability. We reported here last trade deadline, the Cardinals made an inquiry with Dallas. They called, they checked on his availability. They kindly told to kick rocks. I don't know if picks were discussed, players, but Dallas was not interested. That was a part of a slew of calls Monty Ossenford made before eventually pivoting to Baron Browning. Cardinals did something similar to kick off free agency in the form of Trey Hendrickson, and inevitably didn't go anywhere, and they went the route of Josh Sweat. They went the route of Jordan Birch and re-signed Baron Browning. So we had Clarence, our guy from DLLS, on in the offseason, in the spring, and he was very adamant. He goes, this is what Dallas does. They go through the rigors of the offseason. They basically have it become a reality show, but they always get the deal done. They got Dak done. They got CD once upon a time with Tony Romo. Everybody always gets taken care of. So I was just assuming that's what's going to happen, right? And then we get closer and closer, and the relationship deteriorated to the point where earlier today, let's see it, Noah, there were teams around the NFL that were calling Dallas, and they were receiving phone calls. Now, we don't know if the Cardinals were amongst those teams to call, but this is a tweet from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN that the Cardinals were one of 3 teams, the Packers, who ended up getting Micah Parsons, the Ravens, and, of course, Arizona, that basically were in the mix, that the league thought was going to pursue Micah Parsons. Well, we already knew on this show that they had previously done that. What we don't know, Bo, is in the intermediate, did they pick up the phone and say, hey, let's reignite conversations? Has this been a dead end because of the Cardinals' robust pass rush that they brought in this offseason? Nothing like Micah Parsons. But how do you read this quote and then subsequently what happened the last 12 hours?
Yeah, multiple inquiries, as Fowler reported, barring an otherworldly offer, and then the teams that make sense around league circles. So, people talking shop, and they're saying, hey, I'm looking at roster structure, I'm looking at cap space, all the key elements as far as a Micah Parsons deal, and they identified, along with the team that came away with Parsons, the Packers, the Ravens, and then, of course, the beloved Redbirds, the Arizona Cardinals, because just think about how Micah Parsons would look in this revamped defense. And then, as we kind of outlined, that lasted for about 90 minutes. And then the Green Bay Packers, as had been speculated, they were the team that came away with Parsons. They were the ones that were able to pry him away from Jerry Jones for the cost of 2 first-round picks and a starting defensive tackle.
Not good enough. This was a horrific return if you're the Dallas Cowboys. Pour one out for our friends at DLLS that had to endure 2 horrific trades, both now in pro sports, NBA, and now the NFL. Luka gone, Micah Parsons gone. Here's what I'll tell you. That could the Arizona Cardinals have matched this? They unequivocally could have. First of all, the Cardinals' first rounders probably to Dallas were more enticing. Green Bay, historically a better team. They win flipping double-digit games every year. Jerry supposedly, I guess, really likes Kenny Clark. Good for him. The Cardinals could have offered Jordan Birch, who showed a lot of potential in the preseason. They could have offered, I don't know, could they have traded Dalvin Tomlinson? Probably not.
Probably like a D-Rob.
Yeah, or I don't know. That's a little rich. But Kenny Clark's like almost 30 years old. His play has dropped off, right? Analytics say he's an average to slightly above player, like moving forward. I think they could have found like a sweet spot. Kenny Clark felt like a throw-in to me. Like, here's where we're at the end of the day, is that the Cardinals could have trumped this. They opted not to. So you can look at it, in my opinion, one of 2 ways. The first way is we've shut this door a long time ago. Yeah. We gave Josh Sweat $41 million in guarantees. We re-signed Baron Browning. We took Jordan Birch, who could have been the defensive player of preseason for the Cardinals, however many accolades you want to attest to that. Mm-hmm. Or the opposite end, which I think, I don't know, if I'm scoring at home, maybe I lean toward this side, is the Packers have Jordan Love. They have a lot invested in Jordan Love. He's been to the postseason 2 consecutive years. The Cardinals are still waiting with Kyler Murray to take that next step. And we've talked about how pivotal this season is. I believe Kyler Murray is going to get it done. Mm-hmm. I think you agree with that. If he does not, and the Cardinals are sitting next spring in a very robust draft without capital in the form of first-rounders each of the next couple of years, that leaves them vulnerable to mobility at that position. And I think that listen, I don't know if that was the factor, but it plays into this.
Sure. I mean, look, they're a draft and develop team.
Right.
And parting with 2 first-round picks is probably something that Monty Ossenfort really, it pains him to think about. But you don't want to set yourself up to be that risk-averse when you've got a top football player on planet Earth like Micah Parsons who's available. They checked in last year. I think they understood what the price was. They weren't that far out. I think they were anticipating, what Dallas would counter with. But $47 million. I was following Brad Spielberger, who's a friend of the program, who's always in the know as far as
Brad.
Salary goes. And, the Cowboys are offering about $40 per year.
Yeah.
He projected it more around $42 per year. Mm-hmm. And then they land on $47 million per year. I think probably the extension was kind of what got the deal done here. Not necessarily which team that the Cowboys wanted to get the best deal for here. So I don't know if we'll ever really kind of know.
Yeah, we won't. The Cardinals are going to come out and say that. But, I mean, think about where the Cardinals were last year when they inquired to where they're at now. Not only the difference in personnel, that team was 6-4. That team had all the cachet. That team with Micah Parsons at the end of the year, maybe they have a different finish. But here's the reality. The Cardinals were 6-4, couldn't get the deal done, and finished 2-5. And it wasn't because of their defense. It was because the offense wet the bed against Seattle twice, against the LA Rams, and against the Minnesota Vikings. Does Micah Parsons make up a couple games at the end of last year? He could have, maybe. But they're in a very different spot than they were. But they're in a spot right now where they've refortified their line of scrimmage. This would have felt like a move to, yes, put them over the top.
Sure.
But you would have absolutely been jeopardizing, even if Kyler Murray balls out this year, and we're all very hopeful that happens, even trading away all the assets, it limits what you're able to do in the offseason, and it puts a lot of pressure on a singular player.
Sure.
And here's where I think for me, I could have stomached the deal. I think that Kyler Murray's a winning quarterback. I think Kyler Murray can get you to the playoffs, and then, you push your chips in the middle of the table. Monty Ossenford has shown you that he can win in the draft beyond the first round. Steve Keim couldn't win in any draft, right? Mm-hmm. I saw people today saying if this was Steve Keim, it would make all the sense in the world because draft picks mean nothing. I agree with that. But I also agree with, the Cardinals were really excited about this rookie class.
Yeah.
We haven't seen their first-round pick yet. It's because pick 47 has been tremendous in Will Johnson. Jordan Birch has been fantastic. We know what he's done with guys like Isaiah Adams and Rabbit Taylor Demerson. And then we're hopeful about the first-rounders from last year, Marv and D-Rob. But you see how reluctant they are to trade their picks. Probably shouldn't be, surprised that they wouldn't part ways with them now.
Yeah. What's up, Bonnie Brockable saying what's up from New Zealand.
All right.
Briskets in the Bear. Aussie, Big Bird 92, Jason, Animal TV, G. Willikers, Lieber Gallardo, everybody in the house here at Wild Horse Pass, the Upper Deck Bar and Grill. Come join us. To really kind of put context in how big of an extension this was. 4 years, $188 million.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald was for many years the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah.
He made in total $180 million.
Yeah.
In his career. And now he's going to make that, Micah Parsons is going to make that in 4 years, and he's going to make more money on average than Kyler Murray, a quarterback in this league.
That's pretty wild.
It is insane. And that's what you're competing with as far as it's not just, outbidding the Cowboys or to get the best deal for the Cowboys, but you also have to appease athletes first and get the number right as far as the extension.
But don't you feel like they've taken their vegetables? They could have done this deal. They had the cap space.
I think they absolutely could have done this as well.
Listen,
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't disqualify you from getting to where you want to go.
No doubt about it. But it gives you a little bit more assurance that it gets done. And you can look at it two ways. Matt LaFleur and the regime in Green Bay have all the cachet. They've been to playoff bursts, and they're consistently winning double-digit games. They have job security, right? Just like, I look at John Schneider in Seattle. I'm glad they didn't pull off this move. Look at the GMs around the NFL that have security, and they can make this move. Whereas on the flip side, it's like Monty Ossenford is looking for security with head coach Jonathan Gannon. But does he have enough cachet to go out and pull this deal? I think Bidwell would have been okay with it. I think you're bringing a star to Arizona that can sell jerseys. I mean, they paid J.J. Watt big money once upon a time, not Micah money, but Micah's significantly younger. Here's where I'm at with this. Okay. I think the Arizona Cardinals unequivocally could have made this deal and trumped the Green Bay Packers deal, and once upon a time, maybe up until today, we don't know, had interest in Micah Parsons. I think the minute that they pivoted in the offseason and Josh Sweat became a Cardinal, and then what you've seen, it sounds crazy, from Jordan Birch in the preseason, that's clearly a kid that they can mold into a starter.
Sure.
I think at the very least, right? And then it gives you flexibility when Paris Johnson needs to get paid, when Garrett Williams needs to get paid. Maybe you have to redo Kyler's deal after this year if you go to the postseason. There are things that are going to come down the pipeline. So it's first world problems. But here's what I'll say. If they don't make the playoffs this year and the pass rush is inconsistent and we're sitting here and Sweat's got 8 sacks and the rest of the group has about, collectively they're averaging 3 to 5, and Micah Parsons is defensive player of the year, people are going to be like, why didn't they make that deal? So we're going to have the benefit of hindsight in about 6 months.
Yeah, I mean the reality is, right? I mean, Micah Parsons has been playing at this level ever since he entered the league.
Right.
And how far has it gotten Dallas? How many playoff wins has it gotten them as well? I mean, now you look at Dallas, and that defense is decimated. They don't have a Micah Parsons any longer. You look and you circle the date, Monday Night Football Week 9 on the road, and you're like, that looks a lot easier, right? I mean, that's going to be a game where Dak Prescott and that offense are going to have to be Joe Burrow light. They're going to have to win games and shootouts consistently because they're not going to be able to make stops. And then you also circle Week 7. You're like, damn it, Dallas. Why did you do this to us?
Well,
you got Green Bay coming to town. What does it realistically do? How does it change the landscape of the NFC as you looked at it? It's there's many paths to the NFC where the AFC is a little bit muddled because you've got a lot of the powers already in place. Does this put Green Bay, I think, in the hierarchy as far as the true contenders that stand in your way?
Yeah, and I think, Green Bay's not some world beater like last year. They won 11 games or 10 games, but they won games with Malik Willis. There was already a class ahead of the Arizona Cardinals, with all due respect.
Right.
They boat raced Arizona in Green Bay. And, like, I think when we're all doing our schedule breakdowns, that was always a game, albeit here in Glendale, that we thought the Packers had a shot to win at. I mean, they're just a very buttoned-up franchise. They may not have the highest ceiling prior to this move, but they have an incredibly high floor. Whereas I always thought Dallas was not buttoned up, and that was a prime spot for the Cardinals to whoop up on the Cowboys. I think this actually helps the Arizona Cardinals. It gives you more clarity that Dallas has a chance to be ass. They have a chance to be terrible, and you can have a Kyler Murray typical Monday Night Football showcase show in Texas.
Sure.
I love that for us. And then for Green Bay, it's another barometer for the Cardinals. I think more so like the Cardinals defense last year could not hang with Jordan Love. They couldn't hang with mobile quarterbacks. We'll see how far they can play with the Packers this year, and crazier things that happen. They play well at home, so you'd rather play them at home. But I think I picked the Packers in the offseason to be the number one seed in the NFC before this move. I love the addition of Matthew Golden where they got him. I think they've been aggressive this offseason, and today, I mean, it puts a big fat cherry on top. So I think in a weird way, I think it helps the Cardinals.
Sure. I mean, but they're still going to go as far as their quarterback takes them, right? I mean, the quarterback play is so essential for success in this league, and Jordan Love is one of those guys where you've seen the really good, and then you've seen the inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Now, like, I don't think he has anywhere to run. Like, this is going to the expectations now, they're on the rise. Summing it up, as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity or not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because the Cardinals were tied nationally. We know that. And then locally,
In one
we know
little
that.
report. Like, there was one little report right before
I
the
think
deal went
there's
down.
legitimacy to the Cardinals' interest in Micah
and
Parsons.
That's fine, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say, we missed out. There's the one that got away.
They have not won a division in 10 years. They haven't made the playoffs since 2021. They have not been viable. They have a head coach and a GM that have to win.
You know what? You can crush me right now, especially those in the chat. You can just call me like water carrying shill boy.
Okay, shill boy, let's hear it.
I say stay the course. Like, let's not just completely pivot because the expectations are a little dialed up here, because the sins of our predecessors that were so bad post-BA, and this team hasn't gotten to the postseason for so long, that Monty Ossenford has to go there and give up the assets that it would take to get him, and then the contract that it would take to get him.
Yeah, I'm big on draft picks. Where's the Cardinals' first-round pick right now? We want to count draft picks. What was the impact from Darius Robinson last year? Draft picks are roll the dice. Micah Parsons is a sure thing. Now, I'm not here giving up like full draft classes, but I think to say like the Cardinals are doing well with Monty Ossenford in the draft. He is still yet to draft a Pro Bowl player. Now, he's had 3 years to do it. We hope we get some players.
Paris was an honorable mention.
Yes, congratulations. get the certificate out. Excellent. I think it's always a missed opportunity when you're connected and you don't get a deal done.
Garrett Williams got snubbed.
Yeah, I just, to me, it's not a damning omission, but it's, I think, like, if you're sitting here and saying, like, would you have done that deal? Would you have done that deal?
Would I have done what the Packers did? And the extension?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I think, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, friends? There's one team that lost this deal. It's the team in Dallas.
Yeah.
You guys are big winners. You're watching live right now. Hit that like button. We were going to lead our show with some positive news and some uniform discussion.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This isn't a negative.
No, it's not. It would have been an unbelievable show had this happen, but it's still going to be a great evening. Come out to Gila. We're coming right around the break. We're going to talk about the banner, stellar, supreme Arizona Cardinal rivalry uniforms. That's coming
adjectives.
up. They're all good.
Unbelievable. You know what else is good? Pure Edibles.
Yes.
Pure Edibles, 130 dispensaries. That's where you can find Pure Edibles around our great state of Arizona. Unbelievable stuff going on. Founded in Arizona, up in Flagstaff at Old Noble Herb Dispensary. And then they moved their way down I-17 to Phoenix. They're in the big leagues. They were founded, and they're not covered in sugar. At least their gummies are not. Not like all their competitors, but they're a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, kicks like Starburst Chews that are candies that are like caramels, and then, of course, the hard candies, the Pure Effects. They are outlined, and you can find them exactly what effects to expect on each 10 of Pure Edibles. Check them out. They offer gummies for sleep support as well as candies with uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana derived from THC. Pure, created in Flag, as I mentioned, and then came down to Phoenix. Pure gummies designed to be ripped, bit in half for shareable experiences and dialed in exactly the experience you want to get from your gummy. Check them out. Find them for yourself. Pure Edible products at over the 130 dispensaries across Arizona. Pure Edibles.
Supposedly Jerry Jones having a horror show of a presser right now. You absolutely love to see that. I'll tell you what I love to see. Branded Bills on my head. Cop some right now. BrandedBills.com, the official headgear of PHNX Sports. Headwear is a big deal in the Venerable household, even though I feel like you and I are share a quality of a head of hair. But at the same time, I like to go out with truckers, fitteds, beanies, tees, snapbacks, and more. Check out our friends at Branded Bills right now. Start your order. Again, I have seen the light. I will never go against the grain. Branded Bills. They have partnerships with over 40 universities, including ASU, U of A, part of their campus collection. How about this one right here? ASU had the ASU AD on this fine network yesterday. No big deal.
You didn't.
Well, no, but listen, they're doing a nice job.
Toastry and Ruby did.
I was giving them credit. Let me finish my ad read.
Act like you're friends with Graham Rossini.
Yeah, that's right. They're also partners. He and I are very close with the Phoenix Suns, locally owned and operated here in Mesa, Arizona. Check them out right now. BrandedBills.com. BB PHNX. That's BB PHNX for 15% off your first order. Are we going to give out some Branded Bill hats tonight? I feel like we should.
I believe so.
Okay.
I was driving back from the facility today. The Cardinals had a practice.
Yeah.
And the alert came on my phone about the Parsons trade, but I couldn't see the details. And you and I were kind of exchanging texts.
Suffering, yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way. And I pulled it, and then, of course, it's the Packers.
Yeah.
But there was, this little sliver. I allowed myself to entertain the idea. What would it be? And then I opened it up, and then it was just fever dream over.
Here's something we haven't entertained that could have been worst case scenario. The Rams and the Seahawks potentially landing him.
Or Niners.
Yeah, the Niners have Michael Williams and Nick Bosa.
Sure, but still.
Yeah, for sure. But
they're desperate.
Realm of possibility, this is a Rams move. The Seahawks have eaten their vegetables. They can afford Micah Parsons. I don't know. Here's what I didn't like, and not to be hung up on this. I didn't like the people when that report came out that said the Cardinals would never make this move. Cardinals aren't going to pay this. It's like, guys, they spent almost $100 million in free agency this year. They cut DeAndre Hopkins. They traded away Isaiah Simmons. They shed cap. This is why you shed cap, so you can go and make a move like this. He's 26 years old. Michael Bidwell knows the benefit of a supremely gifted Hall of Fame caliber pass rusher. They traded for Chandler Jones. Now they got him for 60 cents on the dollar, but then they paid him. So I don't want to see that from people. And again, not our fan base, not the diehards, but there were people that are like, Cardinals are never going to pay this.
Right.
They're going to have to trade draft capital. It's like, they want to win, guys. And they've put themselves in a position like Monty Austinford can pull what I like to call a selfish. He can take a selfish here and trade away draft capital. But it's against his DNA. But he has the right to do that.
Right.
And Michael Bidwell's not going to stand in the way.
Michael Bidwell is signed off on paying guys either side of the football what their value. We had Patrick Peterson, highest paid corner for a couple minutes in the NFL before they had traded Barbs. And, you had those guys best each other. And then Chandler Jones got a very lucrative deal. They are not they don't shy away from that. But Monty Austinford, if he's willing to pick up the phone and inquire at trade deadline and then check in on Trey Hendrickson, what you have reported, there is a part of him that's willing to make that deal. So to say that they would never make that deal is wrong. It's just flat out wrong.
They have clarity that they need at the most important position in pro sports, and they feel like they're 6 months away from that. I mean, if they make the playoffs this year with Kyler Murray, whether it's a wild card or hopefully an NFC West championship, this is a move I could see them making, something like this to continue to layer, right?
Yeah.
They want to be in a position where Green Bay has been last couple of years. Double-digit wins, playoff bursts, winning division titles, and then you take that next step to say, okay, I'm ready to win a Super Bowl. The Packers are saying, I'm ready to win a Super Bowl, and I can give credence to the critics who are like, the Cardinals don't have enough clarity at quarterback in terms of consistent winning seasons to be able to say that, and that's fair.
Yeah.
That's 100% fair. And if you want to be able to keep your assets to say we want mobility and flexibility in the offseason, you get that as well. I mean, I haven't been super impressed with what I've seen from the Cardinals passing game this offseason, this preseason. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm sitting here in November and December and it's like, man, en route to 12, 13 wins, winning the NFC West, let's go for it in 2026. But got to see it. They got to do it first.
Sure. And that would have stayed, that would have remained true, even if they got a player the caliber of
1,000%.
Micah Parsons, or as what's being said out of this disaster show of a press conference, Jerry Jones, according to Jordan Schultz, repeatedly calling Micah Parsons Michael.
Nice. It's actually not his name. Fun fact about Micah Parsons.
He played 4 seasons for you at the highest level you could play, and he doesn't even know his damn name.
That's like when I call Noah Damon by accident. That might be worse, actually.
That's actually you just kind of setting the tone.
I too am senile, Jerry Jones.
That's Johnny trying to alpha you, Noah. Don't let him do that. Don't let him do that.
Hit that like button. People want us to move on. We will move on to what should have been the news of the day. It is the news of the day
Johnny
for us.
and Bo, move on from the news of the day, please.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about these uniforms that broke at 7 a.m. How about my co-host here churning out a short before 8 a.m.? I think that's a PHNX Sports company record. The Arizona Cardinals, along with about 8 other teams in the NFL, dropped what are being dubbed the rivalry uniforms that rivalry division matchups are going to showcase this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying this because it's the team we cover. It's the team I've loved since I was a wee little boy. The Cardinals won the uniform battle today. Right. They beat the other 7 teams that were in contention, and there are some nice uniforms. Buffalo's in particular, I really like what they
overrated.
did. Okay, Cardinals.
Here's a white uniform. Cool.
The Cardinals Sandstorm uniforms, whatever, Sandblast, I think is what they're calling them.
That was my high school band.
Chef's kids.
Sandblast.
Noah, let's see these uniforms in all their glory. There they are. That photo is probably like the worst angle. When you get close up, and particularly, Bo, like you've seen it in person now, especially the helmet.
Ooh, there it is. There's the money.
There's some straight fire. There's the return of the state flag, which take that patch and put it on the current uniforms, and then we're really rolling. That looks fantastic. Let's keep it going. Obviously behind. So it's a combination of like a sandstorm with some beige and some tan. Mm-hmm. But the real photos that I've seen, it really pops. And it's different enough to stand away from the current uniforms, but it also like gives credence to we've talked about it. The uniforms that they debuted a couple years ago are great. They're very safe. They stick to history. These are they're ramping up and doing something different for the first time ever.
Yeah, not to get too romantic about it, but I see a guy like Yuma Drew in the chat, and I see his avatar. Look at that picture. Who took that one?
Not you.
And you got the Arizona sunset in the background, and in you get vibes from that. You get the orange, you get the reds. I thought that Espo and Shane broke it down very well on today's Southwest Bias, and it finally does kind of give you the feel of and embody Arizona for the first time. It's no longer hey, here's the Chicago St. Louis Cardinals, and then we're just going to change the name across the front of the jersey to say Arizona, but it's going to keep everything else. This encapsulates our great state. And for them to finally listen and reincorporate the state flag on the back of the helmet and the shoulders patch, it looks fantastic. And I will hang the banner. I think that's important. Hang the banner as far as rivalry uniform winners. Champions, the Arizona Cardinals, because I think they have the most unique color scheme and one that really does embody where they're from.
Let's keep that on the screen, Noah. I'm a huge advocate for the white helmet. I think it's the best white helmet aesthetically in pro sports. That helmet, I didn't expect to love that helmet as much as I do. With the red face mask, and then how the bird is the same, but it's got a different color scheme. And then obviously, we didn't know how the beige would look. It looks fantastic. Yeah. That looks better. The picture you took, and then subsequently, when I've seen people hold the jersey in person, I think those look better than even the rendered photos, the professional photos on the team website, which look good, which tells me they're really going to pop. Plus, the leg stripes with multiple colors, it works really well. A couple people have posted that. We don't have that, unfortunately, here on the show, but this is a podcast that before the unveiling of the 2023 uniforms, we stood in front of Monty Ossenford and we did the Lord's work, and we said, when are you getting new uniforms? And he laughed and he kind of walked it off. And then they debuted what I think are very nice, safe uniforms that will age well.
Yeah.
This is a continuation, a step in the right direction. We said we did a post-game show from the uniform unveils a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And we said, start here and then build it out, mix and match. This is another step. You couldn't go from 0 to 100. It's just like the Cardinals. You can't go from non-playoff to Super Bowl team.
Yeah. You can't go from poverty to penthouse.
Right. You got to take incremental steps. This is unequivocally a step in the right direction. They only, unfortunately, wear it once this year.
Yeah.
This needs to be something that they wear at least 3+ times a year.
Well, whatever the process is, and I know it is a process, it's more like then you can't just say, hey, we'd like to change our uniforms or we'd like to make these tweaks, because the NFL, obviously, they're with the apparel companies as far as Nike and Fanatics and all that, and they find themselves in great stores like our guys, Rally House. And they have to take the proper steps. But whatever that process is, start it now. Say, we want to take the back of that uniform, the state flag, and we want to put it on our every week uniform.
Yeah.
Incorporate that with the white helmet, with the speckles.
Easy.
And then also, let's put the state flag patch on every single one of them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great. It gives you that sense of being in the valley, and it really just is that they could have that part of the uniform where everything else about the uniform can have the history and pay homage to the Cardinals that have been owned for the Bidwells forever.
I think the patch returns like next year. I think they debut with their current jerseys with a patch that looks like that, but maybe a little cleaner. It doesn't have like the beige look to it. I think you got to put it on uniforms next year, and I think eventually you got to put the red tops with the white pants. Like, all this stuff is easy to do.
Yeah.
I really like the red uniforms. I know a lot of people are kind of anti the red unis, but like, think about all the options now you have as a Cardinal fan. First of all, when you joined our show and when we were covering the 2023 training camp, not only did they have ridiculously bad unis, I guess that was more so in 2022.
Yeah.
But then, like, in 2023, they didn't even have a jersey of a player that you wanted to buy because Kyler Murray was hurt and Buddha had demanded a trade. And we didn't know if James Conner was going to be on the team. So we've gone from that to having one of, in my opinion, the best uniforms in the NFL, and this right here, with a plethora of stars, whether it's Will Johnson, Marv, D-Rob, Paris, Kyler still here. I mean, it's just, they're in really good shape, and that matters. For people who are cynical to this, branding matters. Now, the Cowboys try to go too far in and make their team a reality show. But to garner a bigger fan base, you have to be able to appeal to every demographic. And this is the step in the right direction. This is how you garner more followers on social media, more impressions, more sales of your jersey, and you get more attention where players want to play for your franchise. You're on national TV. Yes, winning is going to cure everything, but these are other areas where the Cardinals historically have lapsed, have been behind the 8 ball. Again, can't applaud them enough. This was a home run.
But them taking care of the important stuff first as far as building this roster, and then being able to do it starting in 2023 and realizing that that's an important part of the equation, right? That if they do go to where we think they can go this season, that having these options as far as 3 standard uniforms, you got the red, the white road ones, you've got the black alternates, and then now this, and then hopefully in the future a throwback.
Yeah.
Like, those are going to be hot commodities.
Yeah.
And you're only going to become, then it just becomes, you just start churning and you just become this well-oiled machine. But you never were. It was just like, hey, we changed the uniforms back in 2006. We're good. Sir,
you're not good.
It's 2020.
You're the opposite of good. Those uniforms.
The piping is the worst. Like, it was awful. If there was like some sort of fashion disaster.
Noah's wearing one of them right now. Noah, just walk on camera. Take your heads off.
It's
Come
not
over
even
here.
ironically good looking. Here it is.
It's one of the most outdated jerseys. Most people consider it the worst jersey in the NFL. The piping here, underneath the shoulders, the piping that goes down and then that was on the legs and then turning around. It just, I don't know if it was just like they saw one mock-up and they're like, that's good enough. Let's run with it. And people are like, well, you could do something. In a league where the Chargers throwback jerseys exist, that's what we had for almost 20 years. Pretty wild.
Unreal. I got some reaction from Cardinals head coach and a couple of their key players as far as the uniforms go. Here's what, we'll start with JG.
Sick. Yeah, I like them. They did a really good job, I thought. It was brought to my attention at the owners' meetings and, met with Nike and all that stuff. I thought they did a really good job. That'll be cool. Our guys will be juiced up. it's a long way away, but I'm sure too the merchandise with the fans, they'll get those colorways, I think, right? It'd be pretty cool. Kind of like that, what do you call it? I'm still kind of new to the area, but the haboob that hit on Monday.
Yes.
The amount of texts I got about that, are you okay? I'm like, I think, yeah. It was kind of a sight to see, though. I was taking out the garbage, and I was like, whoa. So yeah, that's awesome. Long way away, but that'll be a cool little deal on Thursday night.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, I love them. When I first seen them, I didn't really know what to expect, but I just think the attention to detail and just this copper, the colors of it. I'm saying the sand and everything. I thought it was gonna look real good in these. Yeah, I love them. It was cool because it kind of like incorporated obviously the state flag, which I thought was always cool. Like you see those mock-ups on Twitter, and then just the speckle, the sandstorm. I think it was funny. We had that haboob yesterday or whatever it was, whenever it was, and literally this was. I mean, I wish I would have had it. I would have worn my backyard. They were super secretive about it. They didn't let us take any pictures or do anything like that. But it was awesome when we got to go do it. They had a huge studio set up for us. They like covered us up in like the winter gear, hid the helmets. It was really cool. Really cool color combination too.
You hear Zaven there, and he's talking about, as our guy Shaft's in the background. What's up, Shaft? And also one of our new diehards in the chat, Keegan, saying finally
What's
caught
up,
alive.
Keegan?
Let's go. Keegan joined us today, and so did our guy Brandon as new diehards. We're pumped to have them both aboard. But you hear Zaven say, like, people asking for the state flag on social media. It's like, guys, listen.
Yeah.
People listen around the organization about what the fan base wants. Now, I know you don't get it sometimes, like with the new uniform unveiling a couple of years ago, but, like, stay true to the process and you keep making your voice heard. Like, they'll listen. Like, there are people in power positions that pay attention to what's going on. And this, I love that. Now, Zaven also said that they shot that promo video back in June. And if you remember yesterday, I had asked Darius Robinson at the end of his press conference, like, what do you think about the new rivalry uniforms? And he played like he didn't know anything about it.
Coy.
And he, I feel like D-Rob lied to your boy.
Yeah, well, he doesn't care about you. It is interesting. I don't think you can kind of dispel, like, Michael Bidwell, the Bidwell family has a lot of rich history to the white helmet, the traditional uniforms, dating back to his father's time in St. Louis. And I know that that's important to them, and I know it can be tough to embrace change, and I commend them for doing that. Now, the league said you got to do rivalry uniforms, and this is Michael Bidwell embracing Arizona. This is really the first time where you had the state flag in the early 90s, right?
Yeah.
In the early to mid 90s. But that was still very much a St. Louis uniform with, a little bit of Arizona paint on it.
Yeah.
Now you fully embrace your Arizona roots that you've been here now longer than you were, I think, obviously in St. Louis, certainly. And I love the blue on it. I love the incorporation of blue. I always am hesitant because I feel like the Cardinals' primary colors are red, black, and yellow. Mm-hmm. But I think that they've opened up kind of a Pandora's box in a great way to be able to do more things like this. And again, when you're trying to garner new fans outside of winning, it's good to be creative. It's good to give people options. Now you have 3 different helmets to pick from. You've got the white, the black, which I like. I don't love. I love this helmet. I love this helmet. I think this helmet is an absolute home run. And again, my son, who's 10 years old, who's like Jersey King, you've got now 4 different Cardinal. I remember growing up and it was home or away.
Right.
You've got 4+ different jerseys you can wear as a kid rooting for this franchise.
Yeah. Trevor is incorrect here, but he's saying if Johnny would have asked, Darius would have pulled him aside and just told him.
Well, he would have allowed me to run with it as a scoop, but with all due respect, I didn't want to alpha bow, so we didn't do that. So.
Oh, man, unreal. There was practice today. We did have we did hear more from the head coach, and we've got a QB3. Who's that? Should we be excited about the replacement for Clayton Tune? It's all coming up next. It's PHNX Cardinals live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
So fired up right now, you can taste it. NFL Sundays just right around the corner. I may or may not have submitted a sweet, tasty little parlay to head of content Leah that we're going to unveil It's with our friends at Bet365 right now. They're looking it over because if you remember last year, we take about 3 legs of a parlay and then we tease that sucker up with our friends at Bet365. In the meantime, right, there's no football to bet on pro-wise, but we're watching right now. East Carolina is on the TV here at Gila. You can gamble same-day parlays and more. Early payouts is with our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. They've upped it. They've gone from $150 to $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. Sign up right now. PHNX 365 is the bonus code. Deposit $10. Place a bet of $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bets can be placed on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and whatever the moment strikes. It's with our friends at Bet365. You got to be 21 years and older. Physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
Football's back. We're watching it right now. You can bet on it, Bet365. State flag is back on the sleeve. All is right in the world. And first thing I thought about as far as these jerseys, Johnny, as soon as they dropped was how soon can I get over to my friends over at Rally House and get my family, my sons, some new swag.
You're going to buy one.
Rally House is your spot that you're going to go. Of course, September 10th is when they drop. We're going to be at a Rally House in Glendale September 12th. You can bet we're going to have those new jerseys live and in person there. Go to Rally House. It's your go-to spot and shop for all your local Arizona team gear with tens of thousands of products to shop from. How about Tempe, Mesa, Glendale? Those are your 3 Valley locations. Check them out right now. They are there for all your game day needs. Hats, they've got them. Plenty of them. Jerseys, yeah, best selection. How about drinkware, signage, coolers, socks? You didn't even think about that. They even have sunscreen that you can find that reps your favorite local team here in the Valley. Every time you visit Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new, unique, and matches your game day vibe. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com. That's rallyhouse.com, and join us September 12th. Days before the Cardinals home opener in Glendale at their location. We're going to hang out. We're going to party.
Everybody hit that like. We're partying right now at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. Still time to come out. We've got a major announcement that we're going to announce off air first, and then I think debut it on social mañana tomorrow. But the biggest thing we've done in the history of this fine podcast, a programming note for this year. We're so fired up.
My guy Clancy from Locked On just hit me up. He said, "What's the big announcement?" I said, "You got to be in attendance."
Suck it, Clancy.
Just because we're friends, I'm not just going to tell you. You have to be in attendance.
That's right.
To find out. So the live audience, you're going to get this big announcement. If you're not here, you're going to have to wait.
That's tough. Times are tough, but this is a great time. Come out to Gila. Join us again. We're going to be hanging out here all night. We got our 6 p.m. off-air kickoff show previewing the regular season, open Q&A, ask whatever you want. Our major announcement, of course, right after that is the PHNX Fantasy Football Draft. And our diehards are also here in attendance. They're going to be having their draft off to the side. We're in that draft, too, so we'll be dual drafting tonight. It's going to be a banner time. There'll be plenty of appetizers, plenty of wings. But in the meantime, what's going to keep me full is a full quarterback room, Bo. No, it wasn't Tyler Snoop Huntley or Taylor Heineke. Bo, tell us all. We're waiting on bated breath. Who is the newest addition to the Cardinals quarterback room?
Oh, it is local product from Desert Mountain High School. Kedon Slovis has joined the Arizona Cardinals as their 3rd quarterback on their practice squad. So he was signed today. He was out there at practice. Do we have the video of Kedon throwing a couple passes here? Yeah, here we go. Here's Kedon Slovis. You're going to find Semi Fioco. There's number 80.
Championship.
He's back on the practice field. And there's Xavier Weaver catching a pass from Kedon Slovis. Of course, big-time high school recruit, then went on to USC, then went on to Pitt, and then went on to BYU. So well-traveled in his collegiate career. Talked to a source close to the situation as far as what they saw in Kedon Slovis. They liked how he performed. They thought he had a solid preseason. So they bring him in, and now he's QB3 in place of Clayton Tune. And it's just, you're shuffling chairs right now. He's going to have to show me something, and he might have to wait. I mean, does he get an opportunity to stick throughout the season?
Right.
Does he even survive that? Does he survive the offseason? Or do they draft somebody, or do they does he get an opportunity next preseason? That all remains to be seen. It's all going to be up to Kedon Slovis.
Yeah, I think this is a rotation. Just see what you have. The practice squad, as we know, is fluid. Clayton Tune officially signed with Green Bay. So Clayton Tune's not coming back. We wish him well. We talked about that a lot yesterday. Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray both are under multi-year contracts, right? They're both signed through 2026 at minimum. Jacoby signed a 2-year deal. So you would assume right now, assuming everything plays out, I know this doesn't fit a lot of the narratives out there. If Kyler plays well, Kyler and Jacoby are going to be your quarterbacks next year.
Right.
I'll double down what I said on yesterday's show. I think there is a 120% chance that this team adds a quarterback in next year's draft. You have to, if you're Monty Ossenford, whether it's the first round, the third round, the fifth round.
Not the first.
If Kyler Murray plays well, you're not doing that. But all I'm saying is you have to get.
And I don't think they're one of those teams that I don't see the boldness of like a Howie Roseman where it's like, hey, there's a guy in the second round. I think it would be like
if Kyler Murray plays well, sure, I'm with you. But
I think that disqualifies maybe day one and early day two.
Okay, no problem. I have no issue with that. But here's what they need new blood in that room. They need a young player to come in and be able to learn the system and develop over time. And then, I would draft a quarterback like every other year. I think like Clayton Tune in 2023, I thought was kind of the start of that with this new regime. But then, this past year's draft was so egregious at the quarterback position. And then a bunch of guys got overdrafted last year. There were a ton of quarterbacks. They're going to draft a quarterback this upcoming spring, whether or not Kyler Murray's here or not. It's dependent on how he plays, how high or how low that pick is going to be that they spin one on. Like Slovis, is that his name?
Yeah.
Like with all due respect to Slovis, like this isn't the answer. We'll see what he looks like. Let's get his highlights up one more time.
G. Willikers giving us some insight. Slovis balled out for the DC Defenders. Is that true? Can anybody confirm that if in the UFL he was slinging it for DC?
I don't want to turn this into the Clayton Tune drag fest, but
you're going to.
We're only going up from here. Like Clayton had a really rough training camp and he did not perform well as we saw in the preseason. So just getting a new body in here, a new arm, that's a positive for me. Like I've seen the Magic Man do well in the preseason. Like
David Blau?
Yeah, David Blau's looked good. This team, this room is fluid right now at the QB3 spot, and then it's fluid, I think, beyond this year if they don't make the playoffs. So did I want a little bit more juice? Yes, I'm still thirsty for some juice.
You want a little Tommy Cutlets?
I mean, you had to put a waiver claim on that bad boy.
Here's what I'll say. I think the roster maneuvering has come to a close. The other moves they made today, they filled a key spot on the 53-man roster. You can quit your worrying. We'll fill you in on the details coming up next, PHNX Cardinals.
Yeah, one big name from last year's free agency continues to disappoint. I'll tell you what's not disappointing is being here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. Again, it's going to be the site not only for tonight, getting things off our kickoff preview show, fantasy football, but it's the site of our watch parties every single away game, minus the first week. But we're going to be back here week 3, San Francisco 49ers. Last time I was here for a away game against San Fran, Cards got a dub. Get a dub every time you come and stay at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Nobody does it better. They have the best pool here, bar none. Bo and I have sampled the pool. It is fantastic. It is first class. It is enormous. The vibes are immaculate. Prime A Shula Steakhouse at the top floor. Chef's kiss. In more ways than one. It's fantastic. The food is immaculate. The vibes. They've also got the largest sportsbook casino in Arizona. Check it out. It's right behind this. People are going to be filling it ASAP. We've got Missouri football on the tube right now. It's the best place to watch ball, take your family, have a staycation. Right now, you do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. I mentioned it. It feels like we're back home here.
Yeah, it does. It just has that vibe to it. Speaking of good vibes, how about Phoenix Raceway going down at the end of October? How about Halloween through November 2nd, leading you up to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football against Dallas, where they're going to hang up a big number on the Cowboys. But enjoy the weekend vibes out at Phoenix Raceway, watching Championship Series racing. It's a sellout every year, so move fast to get NASCAR stock car fast to get your tickets right now. It's a great place for the family. Check it out right now. It's one of the best events year in and year out, almost at 200 miles per hour, witnessing 4 championships crowned, 3 days. It's electric. Don't miss out on your chance to witness NASCAR's championship weekend in person. Coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st to November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series Championship sell out every year, as I said. Check them out. And here's your kicker. NASCAR's taking the championship weekend on the road. I think it's a big mistake, but this one makes it even more special.
Yeah.
So this is your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Tickets, hospitality, upgrades are still available. Go get yours. Find the link in the show notes, phoenixraceway.com.
I just saw on Twitter, so the rivalry jerseys are not available yet. We've got some time.
September 10th.
Yeah, but I saw the Bills had rivalry hats that match their jerseys. I have not, if anybody's point this out, I have not seen a hat that matches the Cardinal jersey, but I would assume if the Bills are getting one, that the Cardinals are also going to get a rivalry hat. So keep on a lookout for that. I feel like that's a must purchase as well, depending on what that looks like. So again, all good things. As Bo feverishly checks for that, check in on the Cardinals bust free agent class from last year. They signed 2 defensive tackles. Guess what? Neither were available last year. 9 are available right now. Bilal Nichols is currently on PUP, potentially indefinitely. And then Justin Jones, a move that we had talked about 2 days ago, now is official, goes on IR, designated to return maybe. And then you bring back Aaron Brewer, your long snapper. So again, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, the trifecta, it's complete. Not available this year.
Here's the roster maneuvering that you had in place as far as the Cardinals went. Justin Jones had to make the roster in order to IR him later, so you have the potential of bringing him back. Going in your initial roster set for your first 53, you get 2 players that you can designate to return. Guys who are placed on the IR beyond those 2 designated return, they're lost for the season. So if they had IR Justin Jones any earlier than this, they would have had to decide between the trio of him, Hayden Connor, and Christian Jones. Now that they waited and they cut Aaron Brewer and then brought him back because nobody's going to probably pick up your long snapper, that gave you the ability, the roster flexibility, kept Jones. You bring back Brewer today. Jones goes on IR. He can be there as long as you need him to be. So he gets to extend his stay potentially here with the organization and give you a sense of depth. Right now, he'd have to come back, like if he ever comes back, and he'd have to play a lot more impactful football than he did before he suffered the injury. I think it was biceps last year. Now he's dealing with the knee. But you've got guys, you've got 6 players now in that defensive line room. You feel pretty confident. You've got Walter Nolan, too, and then you got Justin Jones. And I think that those are all guys that you could see part of this rotation potentially. But Justin Jones is out minimum first 4 weeks of the season, and then you can just kind of play it by ear like, oh, did we suffer an injury? Is he ready to go? We can open up his practice window, and then he can come play downs for us.
Yeah, I'm with Ozzy in the chat. He has to prove, Justin Jones, that he's still good at football. We haven't seen that in Arizona. Bilal Nichols, we haven't seen that either. And that's going to be very difficult. Like Walter Nolan and his future, the Cardinals have a vested interest in getting him up to speed, right? Because they know his best football is in front of him. Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones, in my opinion, if they're still around through this year, they'll be cut in the offseason, right? So if you're going to be able to crack a defensive line group that's infinitely better, you have to be able to sit there as a head coach and look at said player coming off the injury report before he even starts to practice and say, this guy can help us more than P.J. Mustipher. This guy can help us more than L.J. Collier, right? And we assume Walter Nolan, knock on wood's going to be back like right after his pup is done, right, and start practicing. I don't know. I think there's a better than good chance that both of these players are done with the Cardinals. I know it's IR designated to return. You can stash them, keep them around, and just say, hey, if you know what hits the fan at this position group and we have no bodies and we need a body, we'll bring him in. I mean, like he was already, folks, like watching training camp. We were there every day. He was doing special teams. He was not an impact player. He wasn't in the consistent rotation. He wasn't in the top 2 rotations for this team. Bilal Nichols has a stinger in his neck. Like you start to question, he hasn't practiced at all. He hasn't practiced at OTAs. He hasn't practiced at training camp. I think Nichols is done. And I think Justin Jones, it's like he has to have his hair lit on fire for him to have an impact on this team. And I think that has to be coupled with, and I don't want this, an injury bug that hits this defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty deep with how you're laying it out. And there is a bit of obviously kind of being upset how poorly they played early on, right? And I get that. But now that you've set yourself up a defensive line room you don't have to rely upon these guys.
No.
Like there's no pressure for these guys to come back at all or come back and be a big part of this rotation. But if they can add and give you organizational depth, and they get healthy, and you actually and the rainy day comes and you need to use them, I think that's fine. Like they're break glass in case of emergency, down the road, and they look a lot better like that, than they did. It's like, hey, we just signed Justin Jones for $30 million total contract, and he's PFF grade is in the 30s. Like that's upset. That's more upsetting to me. But like if you can get him up to speed and you can put him in a rotation and he can help you out, I think that's fine.
It's how I'm treating B.J. Ojulari this season. It's like if you get anything from him and Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rawls can deem him like helpful for the team, like, hey, you're going to come and help this team, we've seen enough from you, then I'm not going to question their acumen with this defensive front seven. But if we're just here, we're not checking boxes anymore. I think the people that were very consistent with their egregious takes that they have to play them and they're going to start because of what they're being paid, it's like, no, these players are expendable. They have not been a part of, especially Nichols, they haven't been a part of, like, training camp. They haven't been a part of this offseason program. They've added – They were the marquee signings last year, then they subsequently added like 4 defensive linemen this offseason. So I feel like they've got one foot out the door, but if what hits the fan this season and they desperately need a body and they're ready to go, sure, you like to have them around. But I am cynical to a player or players that got here, got paid, and have subsequently provided no impact, and then even worse, aren't available. Right? That's the worst combination. You're a free agent. Cardinal fans are trying to ingratiate you. We want to get to know you. We haven't watched a ton of your, play historically. I don't care if they haven't been injured before. They're injured now. I see that narrative online by certain segments of the media here. It's like it's not a bust signing because, they weren't hurt previously. They are hurt now. They are not available for a team that counted on them last year. So I'm sorry. We're not counting on you now. Clearly the Cardinals are just like, do your rehab, get yourself healthy, probably for your next team that you're going to play for, frankly.
Just not that passionate about it.
No,
I think it's depth. I see it as depth. I see it as like...
What depth? But is it good depth? Not all depth is good depth.
But it gives you beyond your roster. I mean, it gave them the ability to extend their stay here and them not have to make that decision and say,
roster gymnastics,
go away.
For sure. No. And it's... For us, and for you can save face by not cutting a guy and eating a bunch of dead money right now.
But there is a likely scenario where you don't see him again.
Yes.
And then they're cut this offseason, and you just look at it as like, well, that wasn't a good signing. But
when was the last time Justin Jones practiced? It has to have been
early
close
training
to
camp.
like a month.
Early training camp, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. I would rather see Elijah Simmons toward the end of the year because I know he's practicing right now.
But just look at the collection. Think about where this team was defensive line-wise.
Right. They're 9 day better.
24. And you got Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols at the very bottom of that.
Yeah.
With Elijah Simmons, I agree, and ahead of them.
Yeah, this is not a Cardinal story. It's like Cardinal adjacent. This is more about these two players. And it's just like these two players, they would have to force the issue.
Yeah.
And subsequently this defensive line would have to crater.
And I think if the defensive line stays, relatively intact, you're always going to suffer injuries because it's such a physical game in the trenches.
Right.
As far as you anticipate getting Nolan back and you got a 7th guy already. You're already that deep. And then we mentioned Simmons. It's like they're looking at being 8 and 9. You have to go pretty deep.
I don't even know.
And if
Bars
they get healthy,
look good.
If they get healthy, Bars. Cam Bars, if they get healthy and their representation forces the issue, they come to an injury settlement and they're gone.
I'll go on the record. I don't think we'll see them ever again for the Cardinals. I'll put that out there. You think we'll see Justin Jones, but not Bilal Nichols, right?
Probably. More of a chance.
You think the Cardinals are going to open up a roster spot for one of these two guys?
No.
They have their roster. If it stays healthy, these are the guys. Plus Walter Nolan. Mustafa is on borrowed time unless they go heavy at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
We know Walter Nolan's coming back. Please, God, let Walter Nolan come back. Please hit that like button as we go into Overtime!
Ooh, thank you for everybody that's been watching on TV, part of our many streaming partners. Check out gophnx.com. The party continues. And thanks for watching PHNX Cardinals on 4:30 every day.
What a show. Micah Parsons, new uniforms, a QB3, and some robust defensive line chatter. We cap things off with some Super Chats, my guy. Noah, you want to rip these Super Chats for us?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
Hold on. Noah, how are you feeling that your beloved Lions now have to face Micah Parsons twice a year?
That's okay. How do you feel that the Green Bay Packers stole Micah Parsons and Clayton Tune from you?
Oh, man.
Ooh,
It cancels each other out.
Can you imagine Clayton Tune's like, hey, this is a great opportunity, and then he has to go up against the first-string defense?
Somebody in the chat said that Tune is Micah's new hitting bag.
Jeez.
Thought that was funny.
The correct response, Noah, would have been, I'm numb to the Lions because I'm a Cardinal fan now.
It reminds me of the story that our guy Britton Golden told us about when Tyrann Mathieu was first coming back, and Britton was on the practice squad for the Cardinals, and they had him go out and just basically be Tyrann Mathieu's tackling dummy. He was out there, and the Honey Badger was out there just lighting up guys, including our guy BG.
And Britton Golden's a big guy, too.
Yes.
Let's get these Super Chats going.
All right, we got $5 from Matt. If Monty was 100% confident in K1, then he would have gotten Parsons. Don't blame him for holding picks. Finally caught a live show from Cincy. Fist emoji.
Thank you, Matt. So I appreciate that. I think even the people that wanted this move and were like, let's go and get this move, I think you said it earlier, either directly or indirectly. It doesn't fix the offense. It doesn't cure our ailments of our concerns this year. I think we all assume like this defense is going to be really flipping good. Every like advanced metric that I've seen projects the Cardinals to have top 10 defense. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like kind of doing what the Steelers have been doing the last couple of years, where they're just flushing the defense with better players, and they're getting to the playoffs. They're having a winning record.
Yeah.
The Cardinals' biggest question mark, I think, unequivocally, depending on who you talk to, is the passing game and consistency from the offense in the red zone against good teams. Micah Parsons doesn't play offense. And I got a text before the show, and somebody just told me.
Was it for me?
No, it was not. And he was just like, to take the next step offensively, to take the next step as a team, you either need to be able to do it with the guys in-house offensively, or you need a major shift on offense.
Sure.
Like the defense is ready to roll.
All right, we got $5 from Ball Knower Dana. Moral of the story, don't side mid-free agents whose best attribute is health. Sign upside and youth or self-evident talent.
I like that.
They're just in a much better spot to never have to repeat the 2024 offseason again. They were signing those guys to come in and start on bloated deals because they didn't have enough assets yet. They didn't have 2 draft classes, let alone 3. Whereas this year it was like they had 2 draft classes, 3 free agency class, and they could say, well, we don't necessarily need a D tackle, but the best player happens to play D tackle, and we're going to take this corner that fell into our lap and this pass rusher. So I think you'll see Monty Austin he'll have a snowball effect kind of every offseason. So plus, I dog on the 2024 class a lot. Like outside of that, I mean, yeah, Froholt once upon a time, and then this year was a home run. I mean, the free agents this year, Tomlinson, Calais, Josh Sweat. I mean, I really like what Jacoby Brissett. Like, this is the kind of offseason that we need to get used to having every year.
Yeah, love to see it. And look, the players in-house have to make a jump. There's a lot of confidence that that's going to happen. And they like the players that they have in the organization. Last, we got Keegan jumping in right here.
We got a couple more.
Okay.
$4.99 from Keegan says, I will go to my first games at State Farm Stadium in Week 2 versus the Panthers. Would love to slam a beer with you guys.
Bo will be there in attendance. I will likely be in the studio, but Keegan, keep us posted, my guy. Safe travels. Let us know.
We're going to be out at the stadium adjacent at Rally House on that Friday. So both of us will be available to slam a beer then. But, yeah, just me on Sunday.
Bo might be able to pop a photo, though, before the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
From
Keegan,
Oklahoma.
thank you so much for your commitment to our diehard community. Hopefully you got set up in that Discord, my guy.
We got Reese, $5, says Kyler Murray will have a Baker Mayfield-like season when he got to the Bucs. Kyler finally has a great team around him.
That would just fix everything.
Yeah.
It's the biggest kind of elephant in the room is like, what kind of year is he going to have? Is it going to be enough, right? And I think nobody knows except for the player and maybe the head coach.
Yeah.
And again, the narratives about him and Michael Bidwell not getting along, and then Drew Petzing dynamic and this fan base that has never embraced Kyler Murray. It's like, just put all that to bed.
Yeah.
And go win a division title this year. And, I mean, typically it's not that easy to check every box. You can literally check every box this year by doing that.
Be big. We have we're just getting started out here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass, the Upper Deck Bar and Grill. Did our live show. It's been a banner show.
Yes.
But it continues. We turn off these cameras. We keep our mics going. You can't hear it, though, unless you're live on location with us.
Yeah.
And we have the biggest announcement that this little humble podcast has ever made coming just after 6 o'clock. And then we're back on. We're going to fire these cameras and mics back up, and we're live with all of our cronies from PHNX Sports talking about fantasy football.
We're going to make everybody here sign NDAs to not unveil the announcement yet. We might have to.
If people want to be Rappaports and Garofolos and Schefters out there, whatever, they can do that. But we would be it'd be lying if I wouldn't be hurt by that.
Yeah, it would be disappointing.
But for the diehards who can't be in attendance, like our guy Kedon, who's in Oklahoma, we'll put that in. We'll drop it in at the end of the night.
Yeah,
the big announcement
in the Discord.
Yep.
Because it's a huge announcement. It's a tribute to our leadership here, getting it done, ink to paper, and it's up in our coverage, to say the least, this year in 2025, as are all of you. Big thanks to everybody here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. Again, this is just the appetizer. A couple more Super Chats. Let's keep going.
We got Tyler P., $6.99 Canadian. They nailed the rivalry jerseys, but they do beg the question as to why we don't have the state flag on the sleeves of our regular jerseys.
It's got to be coming, Tyler. Yeah. I think to open up next year, Pro Bowl jersey announcements, and you hang the banner for the NFC West Championship, and you come out and you say, here are the new uniforms. Same ones we have, and it's got a little patch right here. It's a glossy,
on the back of the helmet.
Yeah, it's got a glossy state flag on it.
Yeah, I like that. How about our guy Yanks?
We got
guy or gal?
$4.99 from Yanks. It's all caps. You got to read it right, Bo.
Oh, Yanks.
Yanks.
The Bronx. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Cards didn't need to deal with Parsons. 4-12, 8-9. I'm calling 11-6 in a playoff run. Stay the course. Pulling up to New Orleans from New York.
Let's go. We'll see you in New Orleans, Yanks. Hit us up. We'll be out. We got Tyler from Bird Gang Travel, who was here earlier. I still think is hanging out here. We can't wait to connect with everybody for our trip. But I like that logic. That's NFL logic.
If you are in the Chandler, Ahwatukee, East Valley area, or even on the west side, get over here right now. You're just a freeway drive away from Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. Come join us at the Upper Deck Bar and Grill. We're going to have an epic season preview, fireside chat, town hall meeting, big announcement style show that you can only catch live. Join us, and then join us at 7 for our fantasy football draft, which is going to be awesome. Johnny's going to make a big-time fool of himself. So is Noah.
I promise, if we get 75-plus people for the season preview, I will draft Tip Ryman at some point tonight.
Okay.
That's a promise.
I like that. Like that. Unbelievable show here, but we're just getting started. Make sure you're following along on your socials at PHNX_Cardinals, at PHNX_Sports. Follow Johnny at Johnny Venerable. Follow me at Bo Brack. Big thanks to Noah and the crew here on site for this live show. Party continues. We'll talk to you, though, tomorrow, 4:30, or actually at 7, right here at PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals.